And welcome back to the OHIO podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Buckeye Boggs, and this is the Fans Are Happy reaction video to Ohio State's 20-13 win over Penn State yesterday in Happy Valley. Of course, you can do us a favor by liking this video, sharing it wherever you share on social media, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, get notified every time we go live or we drop a new video here at the OHIO podcast on our YouTube channel. We also have Facebook, and we're on X, aka Twitter. So make sure you go and look us up on those social media sites and follow us. And we're starting a new TikTok channel as well. So make sure if you're on that you find us. We are over there. We just haven't added any new content, but that is coming very, very soon. We're the official Ohio State podcast of Scarlet and Game. So if you don't like the way my face looks, I don't blame you. You can go over to scarletandgame.com, read great articles, and listen to our podcast over there. Or you can download us wherever you enjoy getting your podcasts from. Also, we are the official Ohio State podcast of The College Huddle. Head over to thecollegehuddle.com, check out all those great articles, and find 75 other podcasts from coast to coast and all the other teams that are available over at the College Huddle. All right, guys, let's jump right into today's video where Ohio State fans are much more positive. It's amazing what a week can do for you when after barely surviving in a 4-point win over Nebraska, you go on the road to Happy Valley, you take down previously undefeated Penn State, handing James Franklin his, I believe, 10th loss in 11 seasons against the Buckeyes. And so the fans are obviously much more happy. So let's dive right into what the fans are saying. All right. Mason McGuire is up first. Mason says, played much better. Keep it up, boys. Yes, they did. They played a much better game, especially defensively, but also offensively as well. A few more minor mistakes, couple turnovers to clean up, and the Buckeyes will be winning comfortably against the better opponents, such as Penn State. So I agree, Mason. Cat Unger, oh, I am so proud of every one of those young men that did their best to play that game, and I can't wait till next week. I'm so in love with the Buckeyes and will continue to support them any way I can. I hope next year I can actually see a game in the Horseshoe. Oh, that'd be great, Cat. It's an amazing place to watch a football game. I think everybody who's an Ohio State fan should go watch a game in the Horseshoe at least one time if they're able to. Mike McClintock, Howard wasn't at his best. Great red zone, goal line D. The offensive line MVP today. I agree with that, Mike. The offensive line played great. And yeah, Howard threw the interception, had the fumble at the goal line, but for the most part, I thought Will Howard did a good job today. Great push by the offensive line in the running game, says Mike. Absolutely. The offensive line was fantastic. I'll speak to that in just a second. How does Penn State not get 44 the ball near the goal line? Nice win today for the Buckeyes. Yeah, when you don't, you got to get your best players the football. This is just James Franklin being James Franklin. It's what he does. Um, he's not a good in-game coach. So let me speak about the offensive line for a minute. So Jimmy Simmons goes down with an injury in Eugene, Oregon. And Zen Mikowski gets to start at left tackle last week against Nebraska. Played awful. Then gets hurt. Then they kick Donovan Jackson out to left tackle in this game. Not his natural position, but he can play it. Got beat a couple times against one of the better defensive ends in college football. So I'm sure he's disappointed in that. But at the same time, he's going up against one of the better guys. And this is the first time he's played tackle in his college career in a game. And then Carson Hinsman, who was the starting center for the entire season last year, up until the bowl game where he was benched, has been in the doghouse for apparently going on a podcast and speaking his mind and speaking some truth about the coaching staff. Gets disciplined for that and doesn't even get to start at the beginning of the year when Donovan Jackson at left guard was injured. And so they went with Austin Severeveld for those two games. And Austin played okay. But man alive, did Carson Hinsman look good yesterday in his first start of the season at left guard. And it makes you question, what have we been doing? Do we fail to evaluate proper talent in practice? Are we allowing our feelings and personal feelings about players get in the way from making the right decision as head coaches and as position group coaches and making sure that we're putting the best players out there in the field and giving this football team the opportunity, the best opportunity we possibly can to win? You have to question that because the offensive line looked fantastic yesterday, especially running the football. They were dominating the line of scrimmage against one of the better defensive lines and linebacking units, for that matter, in the conference. Got to question coaching. I'm sorry to do it, but you have to. Uh, it makes you wonder what in the world Justin Fry's thinking if he's the one making those decisions, or Ryan Day for that matter. If Ryan Day's making those decisions, I don't know. All right, back to the comments. Lisa says, "Nice job, Buckeyes. It was great to see the fire back. Made a huge difference." Indeed, Lisa, it absolutely did. I was calling for this team to have some more emotion, for someone to take lead and become an emotional leader and a voice in this locker room. Seemed like they were going through going through the motions a lot without a lot of emotion, without a lot of fire. It was present there yesterday. They wanted to win that football game. Finally. Finally. And I don't know if it took almost losing the Nebraska at home and the embarrassment of that to wake this team up. Maybe they're tired of the backlash from Buckeye Nation on basically saying you guys aren't playing up to the level we expect. And I hear this from coaches all the time. James Franklin himself said this yesterday in his postgame. There's no one hurting worse than the players in the locker room after a loss. Sometimes I call BS to that. I really do. Because when you're sitting there and you're making decent money now in NIL and we don't see effort being put forth that we've seen previously that you've done as a player, then yeah, you're going to question someone's heart. A lot of people who, well, what have you ever done? We've all played sports. Most of us, and the majority of you who are watching this video, have played sports, whether it be in high school, some of you maybe even college, whatever. You know about heart. You know what it means to have the drive and will to win. And sometimes you just don't see it, and you got to call people out on it. Welcome to life. You're not putting forth a good enough effort at work. Someone's going to call you out on that, whether it be a coworker, whether it be a boss or supervisor. That's life, man. You got to put forth the best effort you possibly can. And sometimes, if you're not going to do it as a player, the fans are going to call you out on it. That's just the way it is. And so it was good to see that the football team had some emotion, some drive yesterday. All right, moving on. This is from Mandy. A lot of female um, comments so far. I love it. It is great to see all of the positive posts. Let's keep that up. It was a great game. I truly enjoyed watching good old football being played. It keeps the game interesting. Keep it up, Buckeyes. Proud of you. So Mandy likes the positivity coming forth from Buckeye Nation in the comments section. Our friend Lenny Zabo, great win. Whoops. Great win on the road. Go Bucks. Yeah, it is hard to win on the road, and Happy Valley is definitely a place like that. They broke a record in attendance, 111,000, just over 111,000 in Beaver Stadium, and that place was not easy. Uh, Kudos to the offensive line for limiting penalties, false starts. They were doing their job yesterday. Good job. JT says the O line finally looked like we think they should. Yes, you're right, JT. With these weapons in the backfield, we should be dropping 200 yards rushing on everyone. I agree. This is definitely one of those games where you come away saying, we have something here. There is toughness in the running game. They're talking about Penn State, I guess. Defense did great. Their O line showed some grit. They won in the trenches. March on, soldiers. I see what he's saying. So he's not wanting to say we. He's wanting because he's not on the team. Gotcha, Boyd. So he's also making a statement with his statement, which is odd, but whatever. Their defense did great. Ohio State's defense did great. Offensive line showed some grit, and they won in the trenches. March on. Yep. You're going to have to do, if you can win the line of scrimmage on offense and defense, 9 times out of 10, you're going to win the game. Might even be higher than 90%. I don't know. But you're going to win more times than you're going to lose. I know that much. Donna, loving this win. Yes, indeed. The alternative would have been very, very different. Let's talk about that. Can you imagine for me with just a sec, in just a minute here, what would have happened? What these comments would have been like? What this video would have been like if the shoe was on the other foot? If Penn State would have won 20-13 over Ohio State? The Buckeyes would have had 2 losses on the season. I would say over 50% of this fan base on social media would have been calling for Ryan Day to be fired. The sky would have not been falling, but would have fallen, and doom and gloom, and we aren't good, and the season is over. And Chris brought it up last week on the podcast. He said, if we lose this game, I look for some of the starters to sit out the rest of the year. It would have been a very, very different video today. And Ryan Day said as much. He said this was a crossroads game. We we said it on the podcast. Ryan Day had his back is to the wall. He has reached a fork in the road after barely beating Nebraska. I saw it before the Nebraska game even began. I knew that this things had you could just feel it, that the pressures of being the head coach at Ohio State were getting to him. And you could tell things were not great over there at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. And they went into Happy Valley and they pulled out the win. This was big for Ryan Day, huge for this team. And if they wouldn't have done that, it would have been very, very different today as we post this video. Our friend Sammy Poston, great win. Looks like we're improving. Yeah, we saw a lot of improvement. I think a lot of it has to do with they have Carson Hensman back on the offensive line. I just do. James Cover, great win. It was indeed. Brian Lee Oberst, our buddy Brian, very insightful comment here. We saw our angry side. Great second half adjustments. Good defensive stand twice around the goal line. Line play was good, but still has some work to do. J.J. Smith, I know you are a freshman, but keep running your route and use both hands to catch the ball majority of the time. Yeah, I felt like he kind of hesitated on that route where he almost caught that touchdown, tried to catch it with one hand. Would have been a much easier catch. Could have used two if he wouldn't have hesitated on his route. Um, it is what it is. It was close, just a fingertip away. He's made that catch multiple times. This time he didn't. I think he was also looking back into the sun. So hard catch. JJ will make it next time. I'm confident in the young man. He's a superstar. But yeah, we saw an angry team today, and that's what we want. That's what we want, especially on defense. Charles Keene, they did us proud today. Maybe there's still hope. Oh, there's still hope, Charles. There is still hope. Everything is still out there for this team now. They got a couple games they need to take care of. Purdue at home, they should take care of that football game. That shouldn't even be a question. They go to Chicago, to Wrigley Field to take on Northwestern. Again, they should take care of that game. No question. Should not be any difficult. Those 2 games, they should dominate. Let's hold them to that standard. Then they get an undefeated Indiana at home, and people are calling this a trap game. It's not a trap game. That is a play-in game for possibly. And if you lose to Indiana, Indiana takes your spot in the Big Ten championship game, that's embarrassing. You can't let that happen. And then you have the revenge game against your rival at the end of the year. Throw the records out the book. That's what they're looking at ahead for. So, yeah, there's still hope, but they need to take care of business this upcoming week against Purdue. Ben Fogle, huge shout out to our O-line and that defense today. Go Buckeyes. Yes, absolutely. Both. The offensive line, great. Defense, complete defensive effort. Fantastic. Woo says hard work. It was hard work, but we got her done. Dennis Austin, great performance by the much scrutinized offensive line. Howard hung in there despite some shaky play. D came up big when needed. Judkins had a very solid day. He did. He had over 90 yards rushing, I believe. Uh, Ended up with over 6 yards per carry against one of the better defenses in college football. Great day today for both the offensive line and Judkins, and Travion Henderson had a good day as well. His was over 5 yards per carry. These are great numbers from these guys. Great team building win it was. I can't imagine how I would be feeling about Franklin now if I were a Penn State fan. Well, guess what, Dennis? You don't have to wonder about that. You can actually go watch this video. In fact, it'll be the video that I have is this one of the suggested videos here at the end of this one. Go look and see what these Penn State fans are saying, man. It's wild. It is. They are done. They are fed up. They are done. Their reaction to James Franklin is very similar to what our reaction would have been if this was Ryan Day and the shoe was on the other foot. It just is. That's the truth. Michael says, good job. Michael Steen, that is. Michael McDaniels, 2 Michaels in a row with comments. He says, go Bucks, win, baby, win. That's it. Brian says, O-line was the MVP of this game and a heck of a goal line stand by the DOHIO. Good job, Brian. Thank you very much. Absolutely. The O-line was great and the defense was stood on their head, man. So I agree with both those comments. Gary Thomas, they finally let Hensman play, and the O-line plays great. It's BS that the coaches have been holding him out of games and risking losses because they got their panties in a wad. But this was a great win for the team. I couldn't be happier or more proud of our players. OHIO, Gary. Gary, you're absolutely right. We've just addressed it, and we're going to talk about it again tonight on our live show at 8 p.m. Eastern. At the second part of the show, we're going to talk about Hensman. We're going to dive into this, get down to the nuts and bolts of it, and talk about why in the world this coaching staff has done a disservice to the fan base, the players, and to themselves, quite frankly, for not being bigger men and getting things taken care of with Hensman earlier. Pat Simon says, great team win. It absolutely was. We've got Dave with a well done. Al with an OH. I'll give you an IO. Debbie says, great game. It absolutely was. And Sheldon is giving a shout out to Buckeye Nation. So, yeah, it was a great day to be a Buckeye. There's no doubt about that. It was a great day for college football in general. Some upsets. There's been upsets every single week. Ohio State's not been upset yet. It's hard for me to say that losing to Oregon in Eugene was an upset. Some might think it was. Um, it really wasn't. I mean, that was almost a pick'em game. We'll see what happens if we get a chance to play them again for the Big Ten Championship in Indy. That'll be a lot of fun. That's what I'm hoping for. It's what I predicted at the beginning of the season, that we would lose in Eugene and we would beat them in Indy for the Big Ten Championship game. And so far, that prediction is looking like it's got some serious legs. Indiana's going to have something to say about that, obviously. And of course, the team up north can spoil that completely in all possibility at the end of the season. But overall, it's a great day to be a Buckeye. 20-13 win against Penn State. Don't forget, live tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern, is the Buckeye Roundtable Show. You're going to have a lot of fun with us in the chat if you come live. We're going to dive in, give this team some grade cards, give the position group some grades, hand out some Buckeye leaves, talk about Carson Hensman. What in the world? Why? We're going to dive into that. You're not going to want to miss that and be a part of that conversation tonight. Again, 8 o'clock Eastern. We also have some great videos that'll be coming your way this week. I believe that Corey's going to be doing a Monday evening live for everybody now, so we'll be announcing that tonight. Also tonight we'll have video from my trip to Pittsburgh with the Ohio State Alumni Association Club of Pittsburgh. We had a lot of fun once again, so there'll be videos of that. I have a great message tonight, and Chris and I have an announcement about our book drive with Second and Seven. Ryan Miller, Luke Fickle, Mike Vrabel, their organization here in Columbus, Ohio. So we're going to be announcing that tonight. We'll be announcing the dates when we'll be raising funds for that. So a lot of good stuff tonight's show. You're not going to want to miss it. Please give us this video a thumbs up, like it, leave a comment section below. What'd you think of the game? What do you think about this team right now? How are you? Are you feeling better like I am? I know I am feeling better. this week after that win compared to the week before when we barely squeaked one out against Nebraska, who lost at home to UCLA, by the way. That's a bad loss. So a lot of positive juice right now for Buckeye Nation and the Buckeyes. We're going to be here for it. We're going to continue to cover this team for the remainder of the season, so don't miss anything. So make sure you're subscribed. Cost you nothing. Absolutely free to subscribe. A membership costs only $3.99 a month. That'll give you exclusive behind the scenes content only for you, news, rumors, and things all the juicy stuff you all love. You'll get a free T-shirt after you've been a member a month, and we give free giveaways to our members as well. So you want to become a member? It only costs $3.99 a month. Just hit the join button right below this video if you're on our YouTube channel. And we'll see you all tonight. Till next time, OH, go Bucks.